This is the premium 2-burner flat-top gas griddle I've been using for a while, and I'm making this video because I kept getting the same question from friends. Is a flat top actually better than a regular grill for everyday cooking? Short answer, it depends on what you cook, but I've got a lot to say after living with it through breakfasts, weeknight dinners, and a couple of backyard parties. When I picked this up, I was looking for that middle ground between the tiny tabletop griddles I've used camping and those massive 4-burner patio rigs that eat half your deck. This sits right in that sweet spot. It's not cheap, but it's not premium luxury pricing either. If you want restaurant-style griddle cooking without going all in on a giant setup, this is aimed at you. Families, anyone who hosts on weekends, or anyone who loves diner food outdoors will get the most out of it. If you're hoping for a set-it-and-forget-it appliance, or you live for slow smoking, this isn't really that. Setup took me about an hour by myself, and I highly recommend having an extra set of hands just for placing the heavy griddle plate on the frame. The hardware didn't strip, which honestly surprised me, and once everything was squared up, the frame felt solid. The wheels roll fine on concrete, and with the locks engaged, the cart doesn't wiggle when I'm scraping the surface hard. The propane tank sits on a lower bracket and moves with the cart, which sounds minor, but matters when you're shifting it around. Cooking is where this thing earned its spot on my patio. The surface is big enough that I can do bacon, pancakes, and eggs at the same time for 4 people without juggling pans. It takes a little patience at the start. I give it a good preheat so the steel comes up evenly. Then I set my zones. I like the left burner higher for searing and the right side for holding or doing delicate stuff. Smash burgers are ridiculous on this. I get that crispy, lacy edge every time because the plate doesn't lose its heat when the cold meat hits. Stir-fry nights have been fun too. I'll oil the surface, toss on day-old rice, mixed veggies, a splash of soy, and I get that fast sizzle and browning without losing little bits through grates. The seasoning part had a learning curve. I messed up the first day by putting too much oil on and creating a tacky mess. Thin coats are the secret. Once the base layer built up after a couple cooks, food started releasing like a dream. Now, after months of use, the surface is basically non-stick, as long as I don't rush preheating. I keep a squeeze bottle of water and a long scraper nearby. After cooking, I splash water on the hot plate, let it steam and lift the gunk, scrape everything toward the grease channel, wipe with paper towels, and leave a super light coat of oil. The included paper towel holder and the hooks on the side shelves are little touches I end up using every single time. The magnetic strip on the side table actually holds my spatulas so they're not sliding around. I did run into a couple quirks. Wind is a real factor with any open burner griddle, and on breezy days the flame can flutter and mess with my heat consistency. I solved it with simple wind guards, and it's been fine since. Also, if your patio isn't level, expect the grease to favor one corner. Mine slopes just a hair, so I shimmed one wheel and now the grease fides the cup every time. Not glamorous, but practical. I also forgot to cover the griddle once and woke up to a light rust film after a light rain. That was on me. A little oil and a grill stone brought it back, and I haven't made that mistake again. The included cover is decent, and now I make sure it's on after the plate cools. Heat control is straightforward. I use medium or just under for most cooks. High is mostly for preheating, boiling off water when I clean, or if I'm going for a hard sear on a thicker cut. The 2 burners create natural hot and cool zones under the plate. The very center runs the hottest. The edges are perfect for holding toasted buns or pushing finished food while I finish the rest. The ignition button has worked every time for me. I still do a quick soap bubble check on the hose connections whenever I move the tank, just out of habit. Compared to what I used before, which was a standard kettle grill and a small single-burner tabletop griddle, this is night and day for versatility. The kettle grill is fantastic for smoky chops or steaks, but I can't do pancakes or fried rice on it without juggling a flat pan. The small tabletop griddle was great for 2 people, but it ran out of room fast, and the heat dropped the moment I piled on burgers. With this larger plate, I can cook for a group and keep everything moving without bottlenecks. I've cooked on a friend's big 4-burner setup too. That thing is a beast and recovers instantly, but it takes over his patio and costs more. The 2-burner format here gets me most of that experience at a size I can actually roll into a corner when I'm done. A couple benefits matter more than any spec sheet. The first is no flare-ups. Grease never hits the flame, so I can cook fatty burgers or bacon without worrying about fire kissing the food. The second is the way the surface turns into your whole kitchen. I can saute veggies, toast buns, smash burgers, and warm tortillas all without swapping cookware. The third is cleanup. I dreaded it at first, but it's quicker than scrubbing wire grates. Steam, scrape, wipe, oil, done, on busy weeknights. That's the difference between deciding to cook outside or going back to the stovetop. As for build stuff that actually matters, the foldable side tables make a difference. I thought they were a gimmick, but now they hold my trays, seasonings, and tools, and I fold them down when I need space. The towel rack under the table is handy because my hands are always a little greasy, and I can grab a towel fast without walking back inside. The lid is nice to have as a splatter guard and to trap some heat when I'm melting cheese or keeping food warm between batches, though I still use a basting dome if I want a quick melt. The weight is both a pro and a con. It feels planted, but you're not tossing it in a car trunk without help. On value, I'm happy with what I got. I'm cooking more outside because it's flexible, and the food's been consistently good. If you want a griddle that can handle breakfast spreads and burger nights with enough room to multitask, this hits the mark without going oversized. If you want zero maintenance, this type of steel plate probably isn't for you. It asks for a little care, and it pays you back with a seasoned surface that gets better every cook. I think it's worth buying if you've outgrown a small griddle, or you're tired of losing onions through grill grates. It won't replace a smoker or a lidded grill for low and slow ribs, but for everything hot and fast, it's become my go-to. I've had way fewer oops moments and a lot more consistent results with pancakes, smash burgers, shrimp, and hibachi-style fried rice. That's the stuff I actually cook during the week, so I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. If you've got questions about setup, seasoning, or what oils worked best for me, drop them in the comments and I'll help while I can. If you want more honest gear reviews and backyard cook ideas, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching.